Welcome to Rossman Radio, the podcast where we dive deep into the journeys of entrepreneurs, founders, and e-commerce brands that are breaking through the noise and scaling like never before. I'm Elise, and Rossman Media is a trend-forward social media agency specializing in going viral and delivering 10x returns for the brands that we work with. Each week, I'll sit down with industry disruptors to talk about the highs, the lows, and the exact strategies that help them grow from their first sale to multi-million-dollar milestones. If you're ready to unlock what it really takes to win on social, build a community, and multiply your revenue, then you're in the right place. Let's get into it.
Welcome to Rossman Radio. I'm Rob Nichols. Today I'm joined by Sarah Morabito, who leads e-commerce and digital investment at Dansko, a heritage footwear brand that's been around for more than 30 years. Sarah has been at the center of Dansko's evolution into direct-to-consumer, building systems from the ground up, managing complex product launches, and steering marketing across paid, affiliates, and their own CRM systems. We're going to go ahead and talk about what's working, where the challenges lie, and what's next as Dansko heads into the busiest time of year. Sarah, thanks so much for joining.
Thanks, Rob. Thanks for having me.
So what drew you to Dansko? What was it like stepping into a heritage brand that was just starting to build its e-commerce from scratch?
It's like a unicorn nowadays to find a heritage legacy brand that was built and born from like an equestrian shoe and then somehow ended up on like neurosurgeon's feet. So to be part of this company that was born and raised in America and started in this really like nice organic word of mouth fashion, and to come in at a time where they were really ready to dig into digital and e-commerce. I mean, that's very rare to find in, it was 2021. So I was thrilled. It just doesn't come across your plate very often. So I transitioned from a B2B position at a restaurant distributor, and I came on board with Dansko. At the time I came on, I had a very small e-commerce team, just two individuals really running CRM and web. And we've since grown our team and all of our channels. And it's just been an incredible last couple of years of high growth. So we're in the 15 to 20% growth year over year since that inception. So there were just a lot of housekeeping things, very sort of by the book, which is moving to Shopify was huge, obviously leveraging that. Moving our CRM system to Klaviyo. They've been a phenomenal partner of mine for 15 years, or maybe closer to 12 years, but 15 years now that I've worked with Klaviyo and their teams. And I think what's really incredible is coming into a brand that already has so many loyal customers, but then reintroducing the brand to new customers, and new customer acquisition is obviously critical and crucial for us. It is every single quarter, but even more so now as we enter Q4. A lot of our game planning for the first half of the year is leveraging new customer acquisition channels. So we're looking at affiliates. Predominantly, we work through Pepperjam, but we're also using affiliates and content creators through our social media channels. That's where we really start to see the lift in new customer acquisition. So we're super stoked to see that kind of come to fruition in this next quarter.
Amazing. That sounds like that's some really solid growth, especially with a relatively quick turnaround time. Looking at the last few years, you mentioned Shopify transitioning to more of these sandboxed e-commerce stores that really do a lot of that lay that foundation for you. What's been a win for a campaign that you've been most proud of that kind of shows how far you've come on the DTC side?
So in Q1 of this year, we launched a product called the Platform Pro. It is a modernized, lifted platform silhouette on our core classic Pro clog. So that's predominantly what we're known for. We're known to kind of that's the clog space is kind of our space. What our design team initiated and really brought to life was this modernized, sort of larger platform base. It's very cool. It's very it girl. It sort of hits all the trend needs, but is also extremely functional. It's non-slip. We're worn in a lot of service industry, healthcare situation. So people really want to have that functionality. It's got to be non-slip. It's got to be super comfortable. You have to be able to stand on it for 12-hour shifts. This product, we went after this launch in a number of different ways. So it was the first time we'd leveraged content creators to create teaser and lead up content, which we leveraged through all of our paid social channels. They created content and we created lead generation through that. And I mean, really, it probably sounds like the standard playbook, but it does actually really work. So leading up to launch, you're looking at usually somewhere in the 3 to 4 week range of starting to seed that content or the product out, making sure you have enough organic content, homegrown content. So anything that we do editorial and how we sort of see the product coming to life, plus leveraging those content creators. So utilizing their audiences to get the word out about the new product. And then, of course, our marketing team doing the heavy lifting as it relates to the functionality, the storytelling, and kind of how we see it coming to life and defining who that customer is. So with all of that wrapped up and doing about a month lead up, we hit all the levers as it came to the launch week. So you're doing your SMS, you're doing your SMS leads. So you're gaining as many new customers, ideally through Meta and on site to capture them to sort of build up excitement. And this is also to understand like reception of product, right? Like, is anyone even interested? Also, what colors are they interested in? So, there was a launch of 4 colors. Which ones did we believe and that helps us also determine maybe what to lead with, what content pieces. If everyone's like, oh, I want the pink, that just helps us understand like what images and imagery is resonating with the consumer. And then we can just double down on that. So right up until launch, we're collecting as much customer information and data as possible. So that's your SMS, your email, and we do also collect date of birth. I mean, really short of DNA swapping, we want all of your information. We want to really understand our consumer. It does help us really, build out that like customer profile for us because we know where our sweet spot is. We kind of know our base customer, but this helps us understand if we're moving the needle at all, because this product was really designed to hit a new customer and a younger customer. So are we sort of seeing that reception happening in the first couple of weeks of going into launch? And so we launched, the sell-through rate on day 1 was higher than we had seen in any of our other traditional products, aside from one, which is a glitter product, which always sells out very quickly. So aside from that, this was our first like new product silhouette collection launch digitally. And we kind of call it like it comes digital first before it goes to wholesale. So that kind of it's called the boomerang effect for us. We try to understand what the reception is online to better, I guess, prepare ourselves for a wholesale launch. So that did really help us understand what colors, what sizes, what markets. So where is it selling? Who is buying it? It does help us sort of understand prior to going into the wholesale market what this product is doing for us. So that was the first time we had leveraged a lot of affiliates too, outside linking, no discounts, nothing like that. There's no promos to this. This is just really understanding the customer's reception of the product. So it does really help us. It helps the entire company, predominantly product design, as they're building into this collection and they're looking to see where else we can expand. The activation on this and the sell-through rate allowed us to, that was the consumer wanted it. So it was great to see that. So we considered it a very successful launch, and we'll be doing something very similar for a launch. So that playbook then just gets a bit templated, and we will be doing that for a similar launch coming up in October.
Amazing. Yeah, I love the strategy of gathering data in that rollout too. So getting as much customer data as you can through the initial SMS campaigns and kind of, I think from even, any kind of, it takes such a good amount of timing to make sure that the lead up to a product launch is perfect. And then you're hitting all the right touch points and the right audiences in advance. And the more data that you have, certainly the better. You mentioned affiliates for this one, working with them for the first time. what channels, how's that channel going for you? And then what channels on the digital marketing side do you feel are performing very well for you? And which ones still feel more like untapped potential?
So yeah, affiliates, I feel like I hear this at every conference. It's just like a pain point for so many individuals. I was just at a TikTok event and so many brands struggle with how to get product to individuals, how to better create like processes around like affiliate and managing that and understanding growth and the ability to scale. From our perspective, our affiliate partner, which is Pepper Jam, they're owned by Ascend. What we see from that channel is the highest return on ad spend. So we get upwards of 10%. It's a phenomenal return. We get a very large new customer acquisition base from that channel as well. It's predominantly, though, defined by like the Rakutens of the world. So Capital One Shopping, anyone kind of looking for an extra deal, which is in total fairness. I think a lot of consumers are very price aware and savvy, and they want to have something. And we are not a promotional brand. So perhaps that may work even better for us because we do not offer discounts. And in that format, they're able to recover dollars. So the consumer can recover whatever the commission might be, the 2 to 5%, depending on the month. So that has done extremely well for us year over year, but I will be very honest that it has very little to no growth potential. We have not been able to scale that. Doesn't mean I can't throw more money at that to make more money. So therein lies a bit of like, it's capped in terms of growth. So we are looking to leverage two new opportunities for Q4 specifically. We're opening, or we're in the process of completing TikTok Shop, where we will be leveraging more of that collaborator, influencer type marketing initiatives through TikTok Shop and through Shopify collaborations. We are now running all affiliate content creator partnerships through Shopify collaboration because we have to understand what the ROI is there. So from product, getting free product out there to individuals and aligning it with our brand, it's cumbersome, it's time consuming, it takes a lot of time to vet and communicate and develop those like almost organic relationships with individuals. And then turnaround time, content expectations. We believe there is still so much growth to happen there. But it's a long-term investment for us.
Completely. Yeah. I know the TikTok Shop can be a real struggle to set up for a lot of, it's a lot of active management, right? It's a full-time job just to manage TikTok Shop sometimes in addition
to
channels. So we see a lot of good potential at Rossman for it too. A lot of our clients are on it, but it's more than meets the eye when it comes to the ease of getting started with that.
Right.
Last question for you. When it comes to thinking about how your organic social content and your paid strategy kind of work in tandem, what do you think the best strategy, if you had to give one piece of advice for the integrating organic and paid on the social front, what would that be?
Oh, I think herein lies every like marketer's like Achilles heel a little bit because, okay, how my team and I see it is your organic or your paid results are a direct reflection of your organic content, right? In your organic, the ability to be like pervasive, engaged, and like community, brand building, etc. All of those things that are so vital to the brand that happen organically, that shows up metrically in your paid, right? So the better you are at organic, the better and the less leverage you have to you have to lean on for paid, but it's a catch-22. And I think what will be interesting in the next, I think the landscape is changing dramatically now. So both are critical. You have to have constant content. You have to be constantly testing. That's something we hear all the time. I think that's difficult to do sometimes just from a content, just creator perspective of having enough content to test constantly, and feeding it all the time it can be very difficult. But I think there seems to be like this sort of storm brewing with AI and AI generated content that's happening. And I think that we're all sort of in this flux state of trying to understand how much do we plan into, what does it look like to leverage AI, and how does our content and how does organic play into that? Because it's almost like zero party data. Like AI is now zero party data, right? Because you get consumers using all of these like new channels to discover your product, whether that even be like through TikTok search or whatever. But so it's crucial that you have the organic and you have sort of the social proof and you have the reviews and all of those things that are so critical, which we use all non-paid organic content for reviews on dansko.com. We leverage that into other CRM activities and initiatives, but it's vital. Like you can't have one without the other, but if you have nowhere to start, you have to start organically, because that's kind of, that's your bedrock. Luckily we have a lot of that being around for 35 years, but again, the landscape is changing so fast. You gotta stay human as much as possible, I think is going to be crucial for brands to remain competitive in that organic space. Like you can't look like anybody else.
I think that's great advice. I think that the one takeaway that it's really confusing right now out there for brands. There's a lot of noise around AI and content creation, but I think leading with the strongest content, the most human content first, and building those paid campaigns around that really is what humanizes the brand and what sets you apart from others. And I think that you guys do a great job of that right now, which is one of the reasons I wanted to touch on that. Sarah, thanks so much for joining me today. I think a lot of listeners are going to connect with that balance that you're describing, that human element. And especially, I think it's a great success story, taking a legacy brand and really kind of revitalizing it and, modernizing it for 2025. If anyone is listening or who would like to learn more about the brand, it's Dansko. It's DANSKO.com. Sarah, thanks so much again for joining us.
Thanks, Rob.